Hey, you guys, thanks for joining us today because today we get to talk about my very favorite topic, and that's all about reading online. So, reading, tutoring online. I used to get this question all of the time from people. How do you teach reading online? And in the beginning, I really had to think through like a really like step-by-step system of like how was I going to approach this, and how was it going to be different than what I do with my in-person students, or how was it going to be the same, how was it going to be similar, what resources would I use, all of that great stuff. And as time came along, I was taking a look at the results that I was getting, and I was able to close the gap a full year with 8 to 12 hours of instruction. And I was like, holy cow, like everybody needs to know like what it is that I'm doing, that I'm getting these kinds of results. And it wasn't a way to like really brag about what it was that I was doing, like I'm doing it better than anybody else or anything like that. But really, I had never those the statistic just blew my own mind away, that I was like, I would be crazy to not share the information that I have learned with other people so that when they start tutoring online, they can have similar results. So today I have invited other people who have been a part of my reading interventionist course to kind of share about like what got them excited about tutoring reading online. What has their experience been like? What are some of the great takeaways that they've learned and be able to put into their business? What kinds of results are they getting? All that kind of stuff, so that you guys can think about just new ideas. And we'd love to be able to hear about as well what are some things that, what questions that you guys have. So definitely, if you are a reading tutor, type those questions right on in there. And if you're not a reading tutor and you have questions, type those questions on in there as well. Now you're going to notice there is a new button that is available when you do leave a comment. And I totally forgot the name of what that button is called. But if you guys click on it and you wanted to be able to get your question posted at the very top, then you can pay a small fee to be able to get it on there. It's something that I just like put on in there and initiated. We might not even need it depending on how many people are inside of the group today. We're going to start today. We have invited Alexa Imwalle, and she started by tutoring reading inside of her home. She had twins that she recently had, and they're just beautiful, and they're so sweet, and they're so cute. So welcome, Alexa.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share what I've learned and all the great things that you've been able to help me with.
Yeah, no, you were teaching reading in the school system, like you were in the classroom before, right?
Yeah, I was for about 5 years. I was in various grades in elementary school, but yeah, I really found my passion for teaching reading while I was in the classroom.
And then things had to change because you gave birth to twins and you wanted to be more present for them.
Yes, that's
Which is
right.
like, I feel like our stories like overlap so much. It's so funny because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that's my story. Like I wanted to be more present for my kids, and you wanted to be more present for your kids. And so you started actually having people come to your home for reading instruction.
I did, because when I was a teacher, I was actually tutoring in person. So I would just do like a couple of students, kind of as like a side thing when I was
Sure.
teaching, and I would actually go to their homes. And I realized I didn't really like that so much. So then when I started this business, and I realized I wanted to do this kind of part-time, while watching my daughters, I opened up, we bought a home, so it had a great office in the basement, and I was able to have people come to the home to be tutored. But then I met you and I realized, oh my gosh, look at how many more kids I can help if I turn this into like an online business.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started to love that. But to be honest with you, at first I didn't really understand how that was going to work.
Right.
And I was like, really? You can do that? And now I have all the tricks that you've taught me, and it's been amazing.
So in the beginning, you kind of struggled with that whole idea of how, like, I know how to teach reading, but I don't know how to teach it online.
Yes.
So as you were going through the course, did you run into any content that you're like, I didn't even know that before?
Yeah, so there were so many things that you were able to teach through your course. I have a master's in reading that I got kind of right before I started the business. But I feel like when they taught us, it was a lot of theory. Like it
Right.
wasn't the practical strategies that I could implement to then help my students make so much progress in such a short amount of time. So
Mhm.
when I came across your course and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be perfect because I think she's going to give me those strategies that are going to really just be like practical things that I can use with my students. And you have. I mean, the biggest thing I think for me that I use every day with my students is reading A to Z.
Mhm.
I knew about it beforehand, but I didn't know how to use it online and how to, just all the different things that it has inside of the program that can really just help those students close the gap for them.
Yeah, for sure. And it almost kind of like I kind of see it as kind of gamifying the whole reading experience for them because they get to move up the levels once they are, they do well at this level, they can move up to this level. And even in the classroom, they can't move up a level that quickly. Like if
Yes.
they do reading A to Z and they use it the way that like reading A to Z kind of intended it for, they have to read all the books at a certain level to move up a level. And that frustrates kids. But when we are working with them one-on-one, we can actually see, oh, yeah, they've mastered this level. We're ready for the next level. They can totally move up to the next level and do well with it. And then, oh, maybe they can go up the next level and they get so much excitement and joy from that. Have you noticed that experience with your kids?
It's so funny you say that because one of the little girls I've been working with, it's coming on a year now. She came to me and she was really, really low. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I can help this girl. Like, I really didn't even know if I could. And yesterday, she moved up a level to like a goal that she had set for herself. And she told me when I had the next session with her, it's like, so are you so excited that you're on level M now? And she was like, yes, last night I celebrated with ice cream sandwiches with my dad. And I was like, oh, it just like made me so happy for her. And I was telling my husband this last night at dinner, and it's just like the pride that you have in these kids when they're able to make that kind of progress, and they're proud of themselves, and they can see that they're making progress and they're meeting their own goals. It's just like so heartwarming.
Yeah.
So yes, for sure.
Oh my gosh, that is the best story ever. We've celebrated with ice cream sandwiches. I love it.
She's so cute.
We've got some awesome people in here. We've got Shannon Denny. Welcome, Shannon, and Kaylani. That's a beautiful name, Kaylani.
Yes.
It sounds like Hawaiian almost. I love it. We've got Lisa in here. She teaches math to middle schoolers. We've got Learn English with Elizabeth. So glad that you are here. And Destined to Shine. We know who that is. That's our event. Anybody who hasn't heard about the Teacherpreneur Summit that's coming up in Palm Beach, Florida, you definitely need to check it out. You can put Teacherpreneur Summit and you will learn all the information. You can definitely check it out and join us, which is awesome. And Lisa is looking to offer some reading services over the summer to help kids with improving their reading, their writing, and their math skills, which is really, really cool. So, and we've got Elizabeth Campororo in here. Yay, welcome. So glad you guys are here. This is awesome. We got a great group of people. You guys, it has been so much fun just to watch like each of these women go through the reading interventions program and really share like what's been working for them really well. What was your favorite part, Alexa, of going through the reading interventionist program?
Oh my gosh, it's hard to pick one thing. um, I think it was all the people I met. I met Margarita through the class. Obviously, we became, I think, a lot like just closer through it. I met Jean, who was my accountability partner, or is my accountability partner. And so she's really helped me take a lot of steps forward in my business. I think it was probably all the people, and just again, like the way that I was able to put all the things that you were teaching us about how to help kids with reading online into practice. And now I love the online aspect. I will never really, unless people want to come to my home because they're local. I just love that online piece of it.
And you know, that is the cool piece. Like a lot of people, like in the beginning when I started creating courses, it was just a course, right? But then I started realizing that why not make it more like a family that kind of goes through this content together? And what would that look like if we did that? And so, you know, when you're talking about like, I just really got to make all these other really great relationships with other people. It was so awesome to be able to do that. That is like a piece that I really wanted to incorporate, because yes, you can watch certain things on your own and be able to see me teaching in action with my own students on inside of there. But then you also get that camaraderie that kind of comes along with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that in like this business, especially, you know, I'm the first of my friends to have children, and a lot of them are, you know, at day jobs and doing all that, and it can be kind of lonely. Like, so it's nice to have all of these tutors and like friends that I make, so I don't feel like I'm just alone in it.
Yeah.
You know, we bounce ideas off of each other. We, you know, learn from each other, so it really doesn't feel like you're alone, which has been huge for me. Like I said, as a mom, but also as a business owner.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. Definitely thank you for sharing like what your experience has been like, and what is. So now when you tell people that you tutor reading online and they look at you like, how in the world do you do that? How do you answer that question for them?
Yeah, you know, I really try to get them excited about it because I'm so excited about it. So I tell them that there's a really awesome program that I use called Reading A to Z. I use, you know, depending on their needs, like Spelling City or vocabulary, and just like through a awesome screen sharing platform called Zoom. And it's super convenient because you can be working in, you know, the comfort of your own home, but we're working together, so it almost feels like we're sitting next to each other. And I try to just get them super excited about the process. And I think that hopefully that comes through just through my genuine love for it.
Yeah. And you have some reading students right now that are online, right?
I do. Yeah, most of my students actually are in my area of Maryland, but most of them now have wanted to do the online because of like, you know, like a weather, maybe like it was snowed in the wintertime, and so we did it online that day. They're like, oh my gosh, I love this. Can we like keep doing it this way? Or, you know, there was certain opportunities where I was able to ask if they wanted to do it online and try it out, and then they became online students. So most of them did start like by being in person with me, but then transferred over.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like I've just gotten to like, one of the things that I absolutely love is sometimes just like how much more comfortable the kids are with the online. And they'll bring like their stuffed animals or their blankies with them and that kind of stuff, or their pet, or, you know, different things like that. Have you had any little boy experiences?
Yeah, I have one little boy. I was going to say that like his reward at the end of the session is to show me everything that he wants to show me. So we'll leave a couple minutes at the end of the session, and oh my gosh, the things he brings, it's hilarious.
Yeah. They do. They like to share like a piece of themselves. It's so cool. I had one student one time that like just literally wanted to come to every session to show me something.
It's really cute.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Now we have another amazing woman who's come to join us. Her name is Margarita, and Margarita is an English and Spanish online tutor. So she does ESL, and she teaches kids how to speak Spanish. She helps them with the Spanish AP test. And just so you guys know, I'm going to put each of their links to their websites as well inside of the description. If they're not there yet, I'll be continuing to add that in there. So check back so that you can check out more about their business and learn more about them. But Margarita was interested in knowing, like, when people are learning to speak English, how do they go through that process? Like, what does that look like when they're learning to read in English? And she thought, you know, I'm going to join Joanne's Reading Interventionist class because I'm fascinated by this idea and all of that. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Margarita. Hey, Margarita.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome. We're so glad that you are here. And Margarita, you live in Spain, right?
That's right. I live in southern Spain.
So we are all over the world here, you guys. We've got Spain in the house. As you know, I'm in the lovely cold place of Wisconsin. I was going to look at my watch, but that's not on me to tell you the temperature. But it's usually pretty pretty cool. But I bet you have really nice weather there today.
Yeah, it's nice. It's about in Fahrenheit. I don't know, but it's quite mild. So it's May. So yeah, it's nice weather.
So tell us, you went through this. You kind of went through this journey inside of your head of, should I take this course? Do I want to learn more? How did you make your decision to join us and learning about how to teach reading?
Right. Well, first of all, I saw you. For me, I think it was your interventionist reading program, and me. We were destined to meet. I think when the first thing I didn't think it. I went for it straight away, because the way that when you were talking about it, and when I went to the webinar, it just clicked inside of me. I think. The program and myself, we were aligned, and that's exactly what I was looking for, and I got so much out of it. And one of the reasons why is probably I share a lot of things that Alexa already has said, but my angle is that particularly even myself, first as a learner of English, for a long period of time, I was never taught phonics or pronunciation in that way. And when you compare English as a language in comparison to other languages, let's say Spanish, which is what I teach, pronunciation is a sticky point for people, for students. And for me, the fact that you got a system in place that it breaks things down into a manageable way of explaining students, kids, and adults also alike to do that is absolutely fantastic. So the closed pattern, open pattern, both are. I mean, I remember whenever I found the first time the video about that you include, I was with my headphones just dancing literally around my house. Because it's such a high energy. I loved it. So that is how great the resources are. They're really fun. So, and like Alexa said, the resources are, it's just clicked with me I thoroughly enjoy doing the course from the beginning right to the end. I will do it all over again. So.
And that's the cool thing. Like anytime anybody wants to come on back, they absolutely can come back on in with the community and go through it again. And because it's broken up into a way where, 1 week we talk about assessment, another week we talk about phonics and phonemic awareness, another week we talk about comprehension, another week we talk about, vocabulary. And so, there's always more that we learn, especially when we start utilizing it with our students. Like the first time we go through, sometimes it's at like surface level, and then we start applying it, and then we have more questions. And so people are always invited to come and join anytime that we do a new cohort that's going to be popping on up, which is awesome. So Kaylani is wondering, is the Reading Interventionist program still offered? It is, but I only open the doors certain times of the year. So I am actually holding a webinar next week, Tuesday. So all you need to do to sign up and join us for that webinar is to click on the link inside of the description. You can scroll on down. And if you're on your phone, you have to exit the chat to get there. So you just click on the X and then go to the description. It usually looks like a little carrot down bar. You click on that, and then when you start scrolling, you'll see that I'm holding a webinar where I'm going to be sharing with people how to close the gap a full year with 8 to 12 hours of instruction. On that webinar, people will also learn more about the Reading Interventionist program, specifically in more details, and then you'll be given the opportunity to join us if you're interested in joining us for that program. And then next Friday, so like 1 week and 1 day from today, I'll close the doors on that, and I won't be accepting any new people because, like I mentioned before, like with Alexa, I like to have people go through it together. I did offer it in the past where I just like opened it up, people could take it. And like people would let the program sit, and I don't sit right with that. Like, I want people that are like committed, who want to walk through the program together to be able to take it. Now, of course, nobody is required to come onto our live calls. They don't have to, and they can get the replays of those calls and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to like strong arm anybody. I'm not that kind of person. But at least the opportunity is there, that you've got a community of people walking through it at the same time as you. So if you have questions on certain types of content, you can get those questions answered. And Lisa said that she values the community and the Insiders Club. She was feeling isolated. She was feeling, frustrated. And she loves the support of even just the Insiders Secrets Club, which is awesome. So awesome. I'm so glad that you guys are all here with us today. And we were talking about Margarita, like, she doesn't necessarily teach reading. Are you able to use any of the strategies that you've learned with any of your students as you're working with them?
Yeah, teaching is such an important and pivotal skill in life anyway. But when it comes to English, more and more students, we live now in a globalized world. So many students, like I said, it's not only reading, teaching and learning online. Is I found that it was, when it comes to one-to-one, it's very, very important, because a lot of people now within the education system and for work as well, we are constantly reading things online.
Yeah.
And it's not only, it's just not only, it's at the comprehension level is one thing, that is one part of the program and the course. Right. Vocabulary for my students, for example, I mean, right. It's not only pronunciation, but it's also, I have to work on vocabulary too. So yeah, I mean, it's there are many aspects to it that makes the whole thing worthwhile. Really, investing time in teaching, investing time in learning how to read in English, and also is as well connected to other skills.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I never even like saw that connection like in the beginning, like for me, when I was creating it, I didn't even think about like the value there with like the vocabulary and the comprehension for, people that are doing ESL work with kids. But I've gotten the wonderful opportunity to work with kids from Japan, and it was so much fun. And I had to approach it from an ESL perspective because English was not their first language, right? It was definitely their second language. And so I had to approach it from that point of view. And the strategies that I had put into place for teaching reading online had already included that, because I knew that there would be ESL kids, but I really didn't have the intention of like ESL teachers finding value in it. So it was so cool to see you go through there and find so many resources and tools that you appreciated from the whole process. So cool. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your feedback on that. And Janay just recently has, Janay Wilkinson has such an incredible story, you guys, because she is turning her life a little bit upside down in the next couple of months, I think. She is going to be traveling the country with her boyfriend in a van, and her boyfriend has like redone this so that they can live, they can travel, and they can go wherever it is that they want to. And she's going to be doing online tutoring. And she also had her own in-person one-on-one tutoring that now she's going to be able to bring with her as she goes on this new adventure and next stage of her life. So welcome, Janay.
Thank you. Sorry, I was a little late. I was having bad internet connection, and let me know if there's too much background noise, because I'm like in an office and there's noise, and there's a beeper for the store that I'm in. So my office is in the back of a toy store. So
that's awesome. No, we don't hear any weird noises. Like my heater keeps going off, but other than that.
Okay. I was like sitting here like, oh gosh, I hope they can't hear that. I just, one of those mornings where I couldn't get my internet to connect, and then my hotspot on my phone wasn't working. But anyway.
Don't you love all the little technical things that can happen? You never know what's going to happen. And somebody was asking me the other day, like, what are the pros and cons of online tutoring? And I'm like, okay, I think I'm too biased to answer this question. Like, there's so many. like pluses. Like I can't think of a con. And then somebody mentioned like sometimes technology doesn't work the way you want it to. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah. But like you just get over that. Like you just come up with a different solution or strategy and figure it out. And then you go from there. And like I actually find that exciting. So I see that as a pro, not a con. But look at you, you're still able to join us even with like that little like internet problem. Some people do have problems with internet, and you know, when you have that happening, you can actually use like your phone as your hotspot. And so then you can start like continue with your session, even if like you're having internet issues in your home. And there have been times where we've lost electricity here and I've had to rely on that. So those kinds of things definitely happen. So Janay, tell us about your experience. You had started with teaching kids one-on-one with reading. How did you get started in doing that?
I moved back to my hometown after college, and everyone just kind of heard that I had my teaching credentials. So it's actually something that just kind of fell into my lap. I was never really like wanting to tutor, but I was like, of course. And so I started just tutoring kids after school, and I was subbing a lot. So it was just a really great addition to what I was doing. And then eventually I had so many clients that I started running it as a tutoring business, and I've kind of stopped subbing at this point, and I have enough clients to just solely do that. I do currently math and reading, but I love to teach reading, so that's why I wanted to take an Interventionist course and just feel a little.
Oh, we lost her. She glitched all of a sudden, like right towards that one piece there. Like everybody else is moving and Janay is frozen. She's gonna come back. I know she is. It's just the weird internet connection that she's currently having right now. But she'll come up. She'll come back on in and she'll be able to share a story because it's so cool. Oh, there she is. She's moving again.
I don't know how much of that you heard. I was just going and going.
You just froze at one point. You said, "I really enjoy taking the Reading and Interventionist course," and then. That was it.
Suspense. Oh man, the internet this morning. Yeah, I wanted to take the course just because I love teaching reading, and then it really took the reading a whole nother step. And starting the beginning of June, I'll just be doing reading all online. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I feel a lot more confident in just going solely with reading and telling people that I'm doing a reading interventionist course and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and now in the beginning, you're one of the things when I tell people that you can get certified through the Reading Interventionist program, that you are a certified reading interventionist through this Reading Interventionist program. A lot of people think, okay, so where are you certified from, right? Like this is through going through this process. Just like if you were to do like a business course, you would get certified in that program. Like if you were teaching something, like maybe you're doing like Excel, you get certified through using the Excel program or something, right? And so it's not through a university or college at this point, but I am in the steps and throes of getting it recognized by the International Literacy Association. So it's in the steps. And I know that was one of the things that you were kind of like worried about in the beginning, like, okay, so what does this certification really mean and all of that kind of stuff. Even though it wasn't certified through something like that, what made you decide to still continue to go with it anyways?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I've always loved teaching reading. So I had been looking into maybe going back to school to get certified through a college or something. So that was kind of why I was wondering, and I was just curious about that. But even though it isn't certified through something, like I gained so much. And I feel like anytime that you're investing in yourself and you're learning new things, I feel like it's definitely worth it. And I feel like, I just felt kind of stuck in what I was doing. And this gave me so many more tools to take it like so much further. And now I don't feel so like bored with the content that I have. And I remember like going back and forth with my boyfriend, and he was like, you should do it. Like anytime you invest in yourself, it's worth it. And I'm so glad he talked me into it because it's just been really great. It's taken my business like a whole step further. So.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that like you really didn't have a good assessment piece in place before, and now you feel comfortable with your assessment piece. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah. Had bought a few different assessments to try. I really like having like that data and then building off of that. And I had used a few and I didn't really like them, or they were really costly. So through this course, I love the fact that I can just fill out the whole assessment form that you give us. That's all ready to go. Like the other day, I had a new client call and the mom was telling me about the student, and I was just typing straight into the top, and it just looks really professional and organized to say like exactly what she was saying on the phone and make sure that she knows you're on the same page.
Right.
And then I love being able to hand them that like packet of the assessment and be like, this is where they're at. We're going to start here and I'll assess them again in 3 months. It just seems so much more professional, and I love the assessment. So
yeah. So as you were going through the course, like what's like the one, like the biggest piece that you were able to take out of it that you implement with your students today?
I've been using everything. I'm using the sight word PowerPoints and everything based off the assessments that they take. And I'm loving the like charts, the phonics charts, and the little like sayings that you have to remember things. I'm just having a blast teaching that, and the kids are loving it as well. So they love the sandwich example too that you give. They crack up laughing when we talk about like the vowel sounds and and like they just love it. So just all those little tricks and just knowing where to start and like building them from there too has been really valuable, because sometimes it can be overwhelming just trying to find like content that's appropriate for where they're at and like keeping them moving down the right line of like phonics or whatever it is. So
yeah. And you bring up a good point. Like when I was creating the Reading Interventionist program, I specifically wanted to be able to create content for any child that needed help with reading. And so when I include like PowerPoints and that kind of stuff, I'm not using any cutesy little, pictures and that kind of stuff. You want to add that on in there. Anybody can add that on in there, but it is intended to be able to be used with absolutely any student. So middle school kids, if you make it too babyish, if you made phonics babyish, they know it, they feel it, and they don't want to learn it. Like they shut down because of it. So to have it just more plain for them to be able to kind of say, okay, these are the words that we need to know, them coming up with their sentence, it definitely helps them to be able to retain that word, be able to access that word when they can't remember it based off their own sentence, versus having like all of these cute little phonics, images, pictures, that kind of stuff. You can bring in real life pictures, which I like about like PowerPoint. If they don't know the meaning of a word, you can bring in a picture that helps them understand the meaning of that word. It doesn't have to be like cartoony or anything like that. It can be an actual real image from online and that kind of stuff. Awesome. So ladies, we're gonna just kind of open it up to any of you really to respond. Would you, for somebody who was like kind of on the fence, so like, I want to be able to learn how to teach reading online. I'm not sure if this is a right fit for me. What would you say to them?
Can I start?
Yeah, go for it, Margarita.
Well, my background is from, like you say yourself, I taught English. I prepare candidates for a particular English exam here that is very common and very well known in Europe and in Spain. And when I came, what it has given me, the course has given me a lot of insight. And my colleagues said, you have an assessment system in place. Mm-hmm. But for me, from my point of view, it's not only that, there is a lot more. It's at every level, word level, sentence level, and text level and comprehension. It's really thorough, and also the good thing about it is that you always have it there because you got live time access to it, and it gives you, for me before, like I say, pronunciation is a big part of it, and the phonic charts, it has been really helpful. And I have already seen that some of my students, they already understood straight away the patterns in the English language, which which in comparison to other languages is the difficult part to grasp for many non-native speakers of English. So that is just one part, but there are many. I mean, the pace of the course is also very good. And the things that you mentioned, that is very hands-on. And it seems to me that in the group, I also witnessed that a lot of people with a lot of experience within the US school system, even doing masters, they got a lot from it too. So that is something to think about. And so that for me, what I thought, well, I made the right move, and I don't have a master, but it seems like what I got here is a good deal and it's worth every penny. So
funny you bring that up, because I did go to get my master's and I didn't learn most of the information that I teach from my master's program. I actually am sharing. I was part of a grant that came into our school. I worked in the inner city in Milwaukee, and we had a grant called the Reading First Grant. And through that, we had to get 30 hours of reading instruction. We had to get 30 hours of professional development every single year. And I think I got like 60 every single year because I was in charge of the program. And that's where I learned all of these like tools and tips and that kinds of stuff. And I've created some of my own stuff that I have felt that has really, really helped people. And, you know, and that was something that, you know, was so valuable, so much more valuable than the master's program that I went to. And many people that actually joined this class do have a master's in reading, but they don't need to have a master's in reading. When I created it, the very first person that went through the program had no reading background whatsoever, like educationally. And I created it with her in mind. And because I start with that ground kind of level of starting it, it helps other people to put the pieces together in a way that makes sense for them. But then I show the hands-on piece, like here's how you actually put it into action. I kind of try to keep all of the this is why it works, and here's the research, and here's all of that, like completely out, really, because it's like, look, at the end of the day, we all want to know which strategies work so I can get the best results with my kids, right?
Yeah, I would just say that it was the best investment that I made in my business. And I'm really not just saying that. Like, I feel like when Janay was talking, she said something about confidence, and I can totally relate with that. Like, it gave me so much more confidence to know the strategies that I was using were going to work, or going to get my students the results that they wanted and needed, and it works. And like we were just saying about the masters, like I have one, but I never knew any of that information until I met Joanne. So like it just was the best investment. And I remember going back and forth, like again, with what Janay said, I went back and forth with my dad. I was like, because I'm just super close with him, and he was like, you know, he really pushed me to do it, and I'm so glad that he did, because it's just made such a difference in my business, and I'm just really grateful for that.
Yeah. So definitely you guys come and join us for the webinar that we are holding next week. If you haven't signed up for it, definitely sign up. There will be a replay for anybody that signs up, but anybody that doesn't sign up will not get that replay. So definitely sign up. It's always better live when you come to the webinar, because you get so much more out of it. What are your thoughts? When you guys came to the webinar, what were your feelings? What were your thoughts?
I like trying to think back to that. I definitely remember I was so glad I came to the webinar. It really helped me to kind of know a taste of what I would be getting if I did choose to opt in, I think. And I think when I saw what information you were going to be sharing through the course, it helped me to be like, oh yes, this is exactly what I need. And what I've been looking for, because I was looking for a program, and I thought I wanted to do like Wharton Gillingham or something, but it was so expensive, and like you had to travel. There wasn't a lot of like places that offered that, like in my area. I didn't really even understand that you could do that. I think sometimes you can do it online, but but this was like perfect. And it's you offer so much value for not that much of a cost. So, you know, if that's a factor for anybody, like it's totally worth it if you're able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
and oh, somebody else jumping in?
Just very quickly, I just wanted to say that, as I mentioned before, when I went to the webinar, I think I first joined not long after that. I joined the your group, the Insiders Club. I think I went to the webinar, and I just after seeing what it has to offer, I just decided to go in straight away. So because I saw the value in it. So.
Awesome. Yeah, Lisa said, the program sounds amazing. I really like how the program was developed to be more practical than theoretical. And I feel confident that I could start offering effective reading tutoring right away. What are your thoughts to that?
I feel like I started implementing stuff right away. I think it was, and you can move ahead in the course if you feel like you need to work more on comprehension or something. It's all there. So I feel like I started implementing it immediately. And then I feel like just like the little tips and tricks that you learn along the way, I would start implementing them. And just, it was fun to work as you go with kids and kind of put the little things that we were learning in while we were working and just seeing how they worked as you're taking the course. So I think it's definitely, you're able to implement everything right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I hear lots of people doing that. And in fact, anybody who chooses to get certified through the program, they actually have to go through a video series where they share them like doing 3 of the main components of the program. And so one of them is the assessment piece. And one of our students that was just in the last class, Sharon, she knew that she had to do this video for the assessment piece. And she ended up putting in a mom's group, hey, I'm taking this course and doing an assessment. Anybody interested in doing a free assessment with me so that I can get practice with giving it? And guess what? She turned 4 of those people into clients. So not only was she able to like learn all of these strategies and everything, but then she was even able to like use it as an opportunity to be able to get students. Brilliant, right? Totally brilliant.
It's great.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like totally giving like everybody that advice now, because you absolutely could do that and it's valid, right? You're going through this course and you need to give the assessment, and it's an open door to getting new clients. It's perfect. You're starting this online tutoring business, or you already have an online tutoring business, and you're adding reading to the mix. It's not like you have to only teach reading if you don't want to. You can still teach math. You can still teach some of the other subjects that you like teaching, but this is definitely going to help you be able to get the results that you want with your students that you want to be able to work with. Any final thoughts that you guys have that you want to share with people?
Yeah, I really liked kind of bouncing off of what you said, how when you're for the certification requirements, you are required to do those videos and to really put everything into practice right away. And that's where I met Jean, my accountability partner, because we paired up together in the course. And it was fun to be able to practice with each other and even practice the technology piece of it, because we were both getting used to that. So no, it was great. And it sparked a friendship, you know, among us. And it was just fabulous. I loved it.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point there, that, you know, you not only get to see how to teach it online, but then you get the opportunity to put that into practice in a guided manner. So it's not like you're left out to the wolves when you just start teaching reading online and nobody's giving you any feedback.
And you gave great feedback and really like prompt feedback. So it was great. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I can do this better. Or, oh, I did that, you know, the way I was supposed to, you know, so it was very helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Any other final thoughts, you guys?
The course is very insightful. The resources are great. And like it has been mentioned before, everything that you learn is well paced. is well organized, is hands-on, and you get great feedback from the beginning. And I think even after the course, you still even have a Facebook group where you can exchange, and you are later on invited into further calls. And like I say, all the pieces are together. You've got them online, and you will be as well updated. And it's just great. And like I said, you meet fellow colleagues that we are passionate about what we do, and it's really great to share the experience from the beginning to the end. It's really worth it. So
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining and sharing your stories and your experience and all of that, which is absolutely incredible. Janay, you gotta tell us, like, when are you starting your trip?
Well, we're still working on the van a little bit. He just did the shower and the toilet this week, so that's really exciting. But, yeah, we're thinking in June. So I'm gonna have like a whole blog about that, about living in the van, as well as tutoring online. So I'll share all that with you when I get that together. I'll have like an Instagram and stuff of the van pictures and everything.
Oh my gosh, I'm so following, and I'm so going to be continuing to tell people about this and like follow this, because how fun that someone in our community is just like doing something so huge and awesome and amazing. And lots of us, we want to be able to travel, but some of us have kids still, and so like we're at the stage where we kind of have to be a little bit more like grounded and that kind of stuff. But you're at that stage where you can like go and travel the world and do whatever you guys want and be able to bring your business with you. It's so awesome. So I'm excited. I can't wait to follow you on Instagram. I'll be sharing that information inside of the Ultimate Support Group, so you guys can follow Janay and stay up to date on where she is on her travels. That'll be so cool. I'll have you come on in sometime too, and tell people what it's like. Like, what are the things that are going well? What are the things that you kind of struggled with in the beginning as you really took this idea and put it into action? I'm so excited. Can't wait to learn more.
Yeah,
all right, you guys. We do have a question from Elizabeth. It says, if a child is struggling in reading, they're most likely struggling in other subjects. It's so true. And improving reading skills is most likely going to help them in other subjects. Hands down, that is so true. A lot of my students do struggle in math as well. They struggle with like even just like retaining like those basic math facts and that kind of stuff. They struggle with the multiplication, the addition, the subtraction, and so a lot of kids that do struggle in one area struggle in another as well. And reading does affect everything, right? It's going to affect all of their other classes they're going to come across. But a lot of people don't know how to help kids struggling with reading once they get into the middle school, high school level, and teachers are helping there with the content. They don't know how to help with the reading aspect of it. So even if you teach another subject, but you're interested in, you've got a kid that's struggling with the reading part, and that's what's holding them back, then you could learn some really valuable skills and tools from this program to be able to help that kid as well. So awesome, you guys. Thanks for joining us. We've got some awesome stuff happening in our community. So definitely next Tuesday, come and join us. The new Monday series that we're going to be having is all about your questions. So questions that tutors ask all of the time, or that kind of like pop on up and you're like, ooh, I've seen that one a couple of times. Lots of people have that question. I'm going to be adding those questions and answers into a new series. So join me on Monday as we are live with our premiere, 9:30 a.m. Central Time. And then we will be back here next week with Lisa Vincino, who is our next Tutorpreneur hero from the Insider Secrets Club. And Lisa is here in our chat here. So woo woo! Can't wait to have that call and learn all about her business and the things that are helping her be successful. So thanks for being here, you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.